to
Masters of Music. I'm Voldemort.
Hello, I'm Derek.
And thanks for joining us on podcast episode 4
of Masters of Music. Your powers are weak, old man. You can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Pew, 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 pew.
Ben!
On today's episode, we have
Rodger Carter. He's from Lita 4, John 5, Rick Springfield, many more.
Yeah, and he has a badass studio in the Valley called
Doghouse.
And we're going to get back to him in just a little bit because we got to talk about
Music News!
What do you guys want to talk about?
Anything special for you guys?
I can't hear you.
No? Yeah. On this segment of Music News, we would like to talk about Barack Obama's summer playlist. Every year he puts out a song list, and he just put one out 2 days ago. And it's very interesting to see what he listens to. He put about like 50-some songs, and a lot of them are modern, you know, from people like Drake and Future, and a lot of them are really old, too, from like Leon Bridges and stuff.
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, two of my favorite songs are, you know, from this list are Do I Do by Stevie Wonder. And My Baby Just Cares For Me by Nina Simone. That's a good one. And those are the only two I know from there. Everything else is pretty modern or a little too old.
Or work.
That's interesting. Yeah, like number 10 on his list is Work from Rihanna. And I wonder what he was thinking about when he wrote that down.
I don't know. Probably work.
Probably work. You see me? Na. I feel, yeah.
I wonder, how does he come up with these lists?
Yeah.
It feels, because for me, it's really hard to keep up. And now, Obama is more hip than me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. I got to know how but it's cool. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to actually just sift through these later because some of them look really cool. And yeah. I'm sure. And again, some article said this list helps him get through 2020. So maybe they're all really either uplifting or real. There's that one new Anderson .Paak song we just heard right now, Lockdown. Yeah. Lockdown's in there, and it's super politically charged, and but there's also fun feeling songs. So this is an interesting list.
Yeah, it inspired us actually to make our own list.
Yes.
So now we have a list that's not 50 songs, but it's 5 songs.
5 songs.
So introducing our list to get us through the quarantine.
All right, here are my 5 songs for the summer of 2020. First song is Big Fat Fuck by Ween. I chose that one because it's how I feel nowadays, since it's 110 degrees every day in August, and I can't do anything during the day. I just eat food and take naps. Second one is I'm So Cute by Frank Zappa. It's off the album Chic Your Booty. If you look at this picture, you'll see why it's called Chic Your Booty. It's kind of like a punk song on his album, and it's just high energy. It kind of counters my Ween selection. Third one is Street Fighter Mass by Kamasi Washington. He's kind of like the modern day Coltrane, and he put some weird, crazy bass synth on this album, but you hear beautiful orchestration and really cool vocals, really good vocal orchestration there. And it's kind of uplifting, even though it sounds kind of dark. It's kind of a weird thing. Fourth one is Rhymes Like Dimes by MF Doom. This is just a dope song. It's the perfect beer pong song. That's what I noticed with that one. Just listen to it. It's dope. I think he's sampling an old Quincy Jones song. So food for thought, or music for thought, food for music. And my fifth one is Opus 15 number 1 in F major. It's I I can't really pronounce. Hold on, here it is. This is the hardest one to pronounce. Opus 15, number 1, in F major Andante Cantabile by Frederick Chopin. This one is really cool. It's a short one. It's just like a quick little piano piece, and it's very sweet. And then he turns the tables, and it's like, it gets really fast, and it's like, it's like gets all dark. So it's like, it's just something that's been turning me on lately because I'm very into like Halloween and stuff. And there you go.
Yeah, I see. That was good. And on my list, the first one I have is Thin Lizzy, Dancing in the Moonlight. Second, I have BB King, The Thrill Is Gone. Third, I have Albert King, Born Under a Bad Sign. Fourth, I have Richie Kotzen doing a cover of Tobacco Road from Bipolar Blues. And last but not least is the Boxing Gandhi's release of Yellow Scooter that came out last year. It's a fucking badass song. If you guys don't know Boxing Gandhi's, you guys got to listen to them.
Okay, so those were our top 5 songs. And for anyone who wants to share their 5 songs, please post it on our YouTube comments below. And whoever does, we will send you a free MOM sticker.
Hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah. We'll send it right to you. And then we'll post your 5 songs on Instagram or something, you know?
Yeah.
So please participate.
But now we got to move on because it's time for
Rodger Hey! Rodger Carter!
Dude! Been a long time. Now, how have you been doing during this coronavirus and all this crazy shit?
I hate to say it, man, but I'm enjoying it. I'm bummed out that, that I'm having to be forced to stay home, but as long as I am, and I'm keeping, everyone in my family safe, then I'm cool staying home, man,
Yeah.
Right.
You get to spend more time at home with your family. That's the plus side of it.
Yeah, there's not a closet or drawer left that needs organizing. I've hit it all, man.
Yeah.
What have you guys been up to?
That's a lot of stuff, actually.
Yeah, actually, the same thing. It's been very, like, this time has been filled with opportunity, is from, like, big to small, like, organizing my life, actually, which is kind of nice. Before this quarantining happened, I was playing gigs that didn't mean anything, but now I got to like actually slow down and maybe just either I put up some shelves as well and cleaned up my space, and I'm writing every day. Like I have a writing session with a bunch of different writers all the time, and just working on an album and now doing projects like this with Waldemar, like just kind of being creative and being
Doing some live stuff with Debbie on like streaming.
I have actually, yeah. Like the last one, we were supposed to do one last week, but I'm too busy, and so I had to cancel last minute. I was like, we did one right before that, the week before, and yeah, we do try to do it every now and then.
That's great, man.
Yeah. Have you spoken with Debbie in a minute at all, or?
I have. She's actually coming in here in about a week. With her boyfriend, I guess. They're not married, are they?
They're not. No, Forrest Everett from Bonfire.
Come in and jam some drums over here next week, so I'll see her. I'll see her from 6 feet away, and then I'll stay out of the studio and let them do their thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, she told me that. I'm gonna be on that track, I guess.
So Derek might be there?
No, I won't be there. I'm gonna do it from this laptop. Send in some stems or whatever.
It's like a Tina Turner thing or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got Frank Zappa behind your head. That's awesome, man.
Oh, hell yeah. This is from that documentary, Eat That Question. It came out like 2 years ago or something. It was just like this cool, like...
Yeah, let's check that out. That's cool.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about where you grew up and how you decided to become a drummer? Like, how did that happen?
Well, growing up, I'm from here.
Oh, awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, I was born in Santa Monica. It's kind of rare.
Yeah.
Migrate. Where are you guys from?
We're from here. We're from
here.
Atwater, Silver Lake area, actually. Like when I was born, my first apartment was across the street from Griffith Park.
Yeah.
So like I literally, now I'm less than a mile away. I can't leave.
Wow. Yeah, it's a rare thing. Everyone sort of ends up here, especially in music. Everyone comes here to make a living at it. So, yeah, I was born in Santa Monica
Awesome.
and just basically grew up in the valley. I'm still in the valley, you know.
Mm.
So nothing's really changed on that end. But it's, drums, you know, like probably everyone else, I had a toy instrument when I was 8, and I destroyed it. And so I plugged my parents for a real drum kit. They got me a little 3-piece kit and started taking drum lessons when I was 10. And I haven't stopped. I mean, just literally never put it down for more than a few weeks. Like I'm 52 now, so that's 42 years.
Damn.
Long time. A lot of drumsticks.
Yeah. Jesus, you cut down a forest.
Yeah.
You just-
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah, so I mean, it's the same story with it. I mean, it's nothing unique. That's how a lot of my friends did it too. You know, I mean, when I was a kid, Beatles is before my time, but I saw Kiss.
oh
I was
yeah.
like, hey, check this out, man. Wow, that's great. And I went to a Kiss concert when I was 10. It just blew my mind, man. You know, it was hard to even like get my head around the whole thing. All the people screaming and the fire and the smoke, and it was rad.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's kind of how it started. It's funny too. In my neighborhood where I grew up, there was a rental house a couple blocks over, and Earth, Wind, and Fire guys were renting that house. So I used to ride my bike down there, and I'd hear them jamming in the house.
Oh my
Sometimes
God.
out by the gardens, there'd be drum heads and drumsticks and stuff, and we'd always like just raid, you know, the
Oh.
broken instruments that they were putting out.
Oh my God, that's crazy. And that, like in LA, like in Santa Monica?
No, this is in the valley. This was in Encino.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah. I kind of like Encino. It's pretty
Yeah.
nice down there.
Yeah,
It's lovely.
and it's funny. This is way before your time. There was two brothers named Tom and John Keane.
Uh-huh.
Keane. And they were called the Keane brothers, and they had records out, and they actually had their own TV show for a while. And John was the drummer, so I used to go there, and he would show me how to play some stuff. I don't know what happened to those guys, man. He's doing music for big television shows, I heard.
Damn.
Anyway, that's how it kind of started out, you know.
Do you remember your like first like band? Like you must have had a garage band, like the first one where you played a gig with or at a school, whatever, anything.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was not true anymore, but back then everyone was older than me. So I would sat in kids in my neighborhood. I remember Moving Pictures had just come out.
Oh, by Rush.
Everyone's cranking that thing, and we'd go jam, and none of us could play. We just butchered that song. I mean, there's no way when I was 13 I could play that, man. But yeah, I remember that was probably the first thing. And then, dig this. This is kind of fun. A guy around the corner named Richard Singer was a drummer. And he's older than me, so I kind of looked up to him and stuff. And he had a little band going on too, and we would jam at his house. But Richard worked at a pizza restaurant in the Sherman Oaks Galleria. And it's the same pizza restaurant in that movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh yeah.
Pizza restaurant. And one time, I don't know if it was Christmas or Thanksgiving, but the mall was closed. And Richard had a key because he was the manager. And we brought all our drums into the mall and opened up the pizza restaurant and just jammed and ate pizza, and it was great.
Oh God! They let you do that?
Well, there was no one there to stop us. You know, we just did it. It was great.
God damn.
What about you? You remember your first jam?
Man, I don't know. Yeah, I was in a band called Garage Garbage, and I was like, it was with my best buddy Nate, and we were just like terrible, and it was awesome. And we played at school. That's our first jam was probably in like after school program, like in the auditorium or something. And it was, yeah, we played. I don't know, like we were both like 14, 15, and we played like some Back in Black and maybe like Nirvana and like just whatever, anything. So I mean, I don't know about how about yourself. You were in a band called
Rectum Rockets, but that
Rectum Rockets.
that band was like way later. Yeah, I know.
Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. But before that, my first gig was like an after-school summer program too. Like here in LA, fucking in the early 2000s. Like I remember my first song was like playing Slide on Sleepwalk.
Oh, damn.
Like that was the first, like when I played Sleepwalk, and like no one gave a crap, but I loved it so much. Just playing that Slide on Sleepwalk, and I was like, wah, wah.
Yeah, Sancho
like,
and Johnny.
Yeah, I was like, it was like the greatest feeling ever.
Like a jam at school though, like on the school stage or whatever, you're like the coolest guy after that, right? You start getting to go out with the girls that you wanted to go out with, and
yeah, actually, that's what that led to. That first time.
Totally, man.
Yeah, and that was the
awesome.
Slide.
Oh man, yeah.
No, yeah, people. In the beginning, they like no one knew who you are until you play on stage.
Yeah, you're just like that weird pothead looking kid, and you weren't like wearing dope clothes or anything. But then yeah, you were sick after that. That was cool.
Hiding behind the handball court, smoking cigarettes.
Yeah. Damn, man.
That's fucking awesome.
Wait, so you've been all around the world and you've toured with so many artists, and you opened up Doghouse Recording Studio 2000, like 2010? When did you?
2002.
2002.
Yeah.
What made you want to open up your studio and have a studio and make it working? You built it with your own hands, no?
No, I did the hard part. I paid for it.
Oh, fuck.
And you paid for it by using your hands playing drums.
Yep. You built
I
it.
mean, I definitely designed it. I bought a bunch of books on which way to make the walls so they're not facing each other, and sound design. I definitely did a lot of that, but not hired someone to do it. But I mean, the story goes is I was just going to build a big room to jam in.
Yeah.
Before I was in the house probably 8 years before I built the studio, and there was a little wood shed that I converted to a drum practice room. Could barely fit in there. Like the drums, you'd have to duck down. And every time it would rain, it would just smell like mildew. It was so bad, dude.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, I wanted to build a brand new jam room.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was almost done with the construction, and the guy that I was working for was Rick Springfield.
Mm-hmm.
Sassiest girl.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome guy. Best guy I've ever worked for sure. But he came by one day, and he's looking around at the place, and he goes, "Man, you should build a studio. I'll go in partners with you. You finish the construction, and I'll go buy all the gear, and we'll split it 50-50. Like whatever we can get rent for it, we'll split it." And I thought about it for a while because I knew that doing something like that might be kind of crazy because I was already worked for him, and I didn't know where those lines would start getting blurred,
Yeah.
But I figured he'll do a record, I'll play on it, and then he'll be gone for a couple of years, then he'll come back and do another record. And I thought that's great. So we went ahead and did it. We built this place great. We brought in all the people, the pros that we needed to bring in to design it the right way. And he spared no expense as far as getting this place sounding good. Wow. And but I couldn't get rid of him after that, man. I mean, I love the guy, but it just turned into the clubhouse. And between records, they were ringtones or videos or interviews I mean, it was always something. And and it was crazy, man. They just turned into the clubhouse, literally. So after a couple years of being partners with him, I kicked him out. Kicked him out of the studio. Yeah, man. And he didn't even fire me as his drummer, which is really, you know. Inside joke was, what do you have to do to get fired from this gig? I mean, but I remember we were on a flight back from Japan, and of course he was sitting in the front of the plane, and I was sitting, you know, maybe I was business, I don't know. But we were negotiating our divorce from the studio on the barf bags. Like, paper, we're writing, and we're passing this shit back and forth, trying to come to some agreement where we were both happy, man. It's awesome. I should have said.
But, you should have framed it.
You could have framed it in the studio.
Yeah, exactly. Framed. So that's kind of how it happened. You know, I wish I could take credit for it, but I can't really. But once it was up and running, you know, the word just kind of got out. You know. Yeah,
it's a great studio. I remember playing there. Right? Yeah, that's how we met. Yeah, we all met. I think that was our first time meeting him was with Hot Stop, Blue Alon, and Dave Darling.
Right.
Yeah, so it was
Kirk.
Kirk. From Kirk. Yeah, so, and we just loved that room.
He did a lot of records here.
Yeah.
For a while there, man, it's like, it was pretty good, pretty constant.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the best sounding record I've done is at Doghouse. It's fucking... The sound's so good in that room.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Well, Dave Darling produced your record, right?
Yeah.
Dave knows his shit for sure, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was like the first time I was in the studio. And everything he was telling me, I was like, I want to put distortion. I want to fucking kill it. Like, and he's like, no, turn it down. Like, he did everything the opposite, but then it sounded so good, and it still sounds, to this day, the best thing I've ever done.
That's awesome. Good. I like it. And then Derek, I played on some of your stuff here, right?
Yeah, you played drums on my first single, like my first solo single after that band. I
remember it was a jamming tune too. It was like a rocking up tempo thing. I remember.
Yeah, me and Debbie Holiday wrote it, and I think we gave it to you that day. We were like, "Can you play drums on it? We don't have a drummer." And you're like, "Yeah." And you just like went and like laid it down. We're like, "There you go, boom!" It's like. It was awesome. It's called Face Me, out now.
Me and you tracked it live at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Debbie was kind of doing a scratch vocal, and that was it. There was no bass player here at the time or anything.
No, yeah. We called in Philip Bino from Steve Vai to come in late, like next week or something.
Can't go wrong. He's awesome.
Oh, yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah, and another thing about that single is, like, I didn't know you played on it.
Till yesterday.
And it's the best sounding single, I think, produced wise, even and everything, like that he has. I think him and Doghouse. He should be working more at Doghouse.
I'd love to come back.
You produced it yourself, right? You and Debbie, more or less.
Pretty much, yeah. It was just me and Debbie.
But the sounds and also the drummer, like, it's freaking awesome. Like, and I didn't know you played on it, and it just sounds so big and. Like, the way that you play, it's tight and big at the same time. Mm-hmm. I don't know any other way to explain it.
It's like monstrous, but honed in.
Yeah, kind of bombastic a little bit. Bombastic, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Like,
well, nobody stopped me. No one said, "Hey, quit playing all that."
I mean, that sounds so good.
How long ago was that?
2000. I remember. That's a good question.
16, 17?
16, I think. 2016. 4 years ago, I believe. And I released it like a year later. So, I don't know.
Well, I remember seeing a video of a girl playing it in your video. There was a girl drummer, right?
Yeah, Tasha Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, she plays it. And yeah, there's just a bunch of... The video is just like a bunch of random... consortments of everyone and anything. I don't know. But yeah.
It's
cool. I remember it. Sure.
That's freaking awesome.
4 years ago. Holy smokes.
I think so. Maybe even 5. Like it might have been. It was a while ago. I think it was 4 though. It was 2016. And yeah, and then Blue Lawn record was maybe 6 years ago.
It's like a year before that, maybe. Oh no, but then we moved to Tennessee. I don't even know.
I don't know.
Man.
I don't know
we
what
moved to
time
Tennessee and we did that whole thing where we were like fucking playing weekends in different states.
Yeah.
So we like fucking anchored ourselves in Tennessee and then fucking go to Oklahoma one weekend, next weekend go to fucking North Carolina, just fucking going crazy. Oh yeah.
Well, we're due for another, session. I think pretty soon here, man.
Yeah.
Pretty badass.
Oh my God.
Hey, was your band the Bluey Lawn band? Is that the one where the singer showed up with this big old tattoo on his neck one day?
Yeah, with the marijuana pot leaf. Yeah, that was Brent.
Dude, I remember that, man, because the first time I met him, whatever, he seemed cool, and like the very next time he walks in, he's just got this big pot leaf.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, also
awesome.
that was super awesome, and that was before it became legal. So now it's almost like getting anything else. But before that was like, yeah,
You could get like a carton of milk tattoo.
yeah, it's about the same. Like you get a almond milk tattoo, like. But
That's even more controversial
I don't know.
nowadays.
Anti-vaxxer tattoos. We'll see.
Yeah.
But that's cool. So how did?
Is that band no more?
Yeah, that band's no more. Like a year and a half ago, like people dropped out, and then we got fucking dropped from Blue Lawn, and then I moved back here from Tennessee, and I'm actually in film school at the same time, so we're doing this podcast, and I'm also working still with Bryn, like writing songs and other things, but I'm also going to film school, so that's why we're
Cool.
doing a video podcast, and I do music videos and lyric videos and shit, whatever.
Yeah, Waldemar is producing my next lyric video, which is gonna be really cool.
Behind the scenes
Right.
stuff. Yeah, it's fun. I just like being creative. I think you just got to keep doing it. And I don't like creativity means you can be creative anyway. It doesn't have to mean you have to stick to music or whatever. You kind of just live your life and breathe creativity. So then I just like the next thing is just do it visual, write stories visually instead of just melodically.
I think really creative people don't even really have much of a choice.
Yeah.
It's going to come out one way or the other, if not right now, down the road a little bit. But
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like that. I keep talking about this, but David Lynch has this idea where it's called the art life, and the art life is the artist living life, and basically means you're always working. You can never get a break because every time you turn around, you're inspired by something, which makes you want to work. So your life is just gonna be always work, but I think it's the only way we can live. It's just like, yeah. Like I was telling Derek before, like right now we can't physically earn money, but we have no time to stop working. Like we're just working and we're always producing. Derek's always writing. I'm always editing something, writing something, doing something, and then just like I feel like I can't even get sleep. Like just during this time when I can't do anything, I got nothing. Like I got no time.
It's like a self-imposed kind of pressure you keep on yourself to keep delivering, and I think that's awesome, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still do this thing. I still practice drums all the time, man. And I make sure that I watch something that's really inspiring, but that also just makes me feel like I don't know how to play. Like I'm watching these guys today, and I go down the YouTube rabbit hole where I'm just watching drum video after drum, and there's so much to learn, man. There's so much to learn, So I practice as much as I did when I was, well, maybe not as much when I was a kid, but a lot, You'd think I'd start getting good at this point after all this practice.
Yeah.
Hey, I was thinking about that the other day. So, like 10 years ago or 20 years ago, were there this many great musicians, or is that something new that there's this many great players, or is it just with the internet we have access to them and they have access to putting themselves out here? So between the two, you're just aware of them now. I just wonder if there's more players or it's just the access to them is greater, you know? Anyway, I was thinking about that the other day.
Yeah.
It's just, dude, you just go on YouTube and there's just all these players that are slamming. You've never even heard of them, you know?
Yeah.
And it just going and going and going and going. It's just endless.
Yeah, I think it's like the access thing. Like there's, like, I don't think it's gonna be in the future. Record labels are gonna start disappearing. It's almost like because people can just put out their own thing, and then a record label is gonna come in and try to steal your creativity and then like profit off it. But a lot of times, right now, there's even artists on YouTube that have made $1 million without even signing to anybody, and so it's like it's almost like.
That's great.
Yeah, the medium is changing. They're saying that Drake is thinking about going independent and not signing because his contract is over. So they're like, yeah, if he goes independent, record labels are over. Because then everyone can go independent and they can just produce their own stuff, sell it on fucking iTunes. And who the fuck does Kanye West need or
That's true.
New world.
Yeah, Aerosmith. Like, they don't need a record label anymore. They're Aerosmith at that time. Like, they can make their own money.
Yeah.
Put out a commercial by themselves or whatever.
So like for a guitar player though, like the music side of it, are there guys doing stuff on guitar now that 10 years ago wasn't even possible? Like this guy pushed it and then this guy took the ball and ran a little further and this guy, and after a few years, guys are doing stuff that wasn't even physically possible. Is that the same for guitar? Because on drums it sure is. There was nobody like they're playing now 10 years ago.
There is guys going crazy, but at the same time, those dudes that get so crazy get less musical, so I don't even want to listen to it anymore. It just becomes like...
Yeah, there's that whole side of it, but I'm just thinking just purely on the instrument, not about whether they play too much and they work and all that crap.
Yeah.
But just physically, you watch these drummers, like their feet are like machines, like pistons on high gear, dude. And there was never, I don't remember that at all until like the last 15 years or so, man. And just to create, I don't know. Guys weren't playing like the instrument has evolved so much so quickly that maybe I'm just old. I don't know.
No, no, you make a great point. That like there's that little there's this like little kid. I met him at NAMM. Insane little. I wish I remembered his name. It's a complicated name. He's this like little Asian kid that just shreds, but he's like 5. And he's just like super famous right now, but he plays everything so sick. And I think it's because he has access to those drummers, and he has this incredible access. And I got a friend in England, Adam Breeze. He just gets constantly better, and he has like, he's just like constantly like making, it's like performing for the camera to release is like a new form of vlogging, and you're just getting better and better and better, and you're like vlogging your progress. And I think something about like just that access thing is, I mean, it happens all around, but yeah, that's the whole birth of the mini shredders are mind blowing. I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, exactly what I'm talking about, man. There's just these players. I just can't believe what they're playing.
Yeah, but
they're everywhere. They're like Starbucks. They're just everywhere, man. Everywhere you. Yeah, there they are.
They also have access to like the legends. Like back in the day, even when we started out, it was like CDs and DVDs, and you had to get those CDs and DVDs. Now you can just go, turn around, or look at your phone, and you can see everything, and then slow it down. You can get a live video of Van Halen, 87, at some little bar, maybe when he was drunk or some bullshit, like some imaginary thing, and slow it down the video to learn everything he did.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I think it's like it's easier to learn now. Like you don't need school anymore.
For sure, it's easier to learn. I mean, this put the music teacher out of business, basically.
Yeah.
Although I still think having a one-on-one teacher is the way to go, at least when you're starting out. But yeah, there's always some guy on YouTube teaching for free.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do 8 hours a day for the rest of your life, and you wouldn't even scratch the surface of all the instructional videos out there.
Yeah, it's super crazy.
Oh man. Well, wow. We really touched on like the positive negatives of modern music growth because I'm looking forward to maybe more independence, but I'm also there's a lot of catching up to do technique wise and all sorts of things.
Well, business, man, that's just, I mean, it is what it is. It's not, I don't think it's ever coming back. So, you just got to get into other facets of it,
Mm.
And it's fine, I mean, most of us didn't do this so we could make money. If we did, we're nuts because there's easier ways to do it than playing music. But the business was taking a nosedive with record sales and all that, obviously. But now with the coronavirus, now live playing's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no making money anymore. I mean, at least for now. But I
Well,
think
if you asked me 3 months ago, I was saying, yeah, it's going to come back. Don't worry. But now I don't know, man. I don't know anymore. Who knows?
Man.
Did you lose a bunch of dates when this whole lockdown happened?
I did, and I was just starting to make money playing shows, and I lost all those gigs.
Yeah.
Like actually like 50. I lost a New Orleans festival back in the Jazz Fest in I think March or something that happens every year. It was the first time gonna go to New Orleans, man. I lost experiences. Oh.
And that's a drag, man. But it's everybody though.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no exception right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, crazy times, man.
What would be the first place that you would like if say we were gonna start playing gigs next week, everything cured, bam, play a show. Where would you want to play first? Or what would you want to do? Would you play live? Would you want to just go out, chill, or I don't know.
You mean like venue wise? Where would I want to play, or who, or who I want to play with?
Yeah, who and where?
I mean, I don't really care so much as the where, but there's some artists that are unattainable for me to play with. I'm pretty sure, like Sting, or Peter, or Seal.
Oh wow.
Yeah, if I could play with any one of those guys, it would be pretty awesome. But I've had a lot of awesome moments too. I've gotten to meet a lot of the people I grew up listening to. I've gotten to work with a lot of people I grew up listening to. So I'm pretty grateful, man. I still have a whole list of things I want to accomplish, but as the years go by, you start thinking, okay, well maybe I can ease up a bit on just. I mean, that was me forever. Like, you get a tour, you want another one that's bigger, that pays better. And you play a venue that seats 5,000, you want to play a venue that seats 10,000. And it never stopped, man. That was like my personality, Unfortunately, it carried over into personal life too, but thinking something better. But it's just been the last couple of years where I said, I'm okay with where things are. I'm not content. It's not like I'm going to stop trying to advance, but just waking up daily and thinking, what am I going to do today to further my career? That stuff's really slowed down. Because all things to think about, man.
Yeah.
So,
well, how did you get your first break, like as a drummer, or you get your good first paying gig or whatever? Because you got to Rick Springfield, and I know you're playing with John 5 now, or you have been a few years ago. I'm not sure.
I'm not a John thing anymore, but my first paid gig, really pretty much legit, tour was with Lita Ford.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So she's awesome, man. She's like my sister.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she gave me a shot, and and right away we were recording. It's not like she was bringing in session players. I mean, she was letting me play. I went from just meeting her to being on Sunset Boulevard cutting tracks.
Wow.
So it was pretty. I learned a lot really quickly.
Wow.
I learned a lot really quickly.
Who's on bass for that when you were on drums?
Well, it's funny. That's how I met her. She was dating. Unfortunately, he's not with us anymore. Jimmy Tatis. She was dating a friend of mine, and he's the one that called me and said, "Hey, come, we're auditioning drummers. Come on down." And so I went, and it went pretty well.
Oh, wow.
I tell her all the time. It's getting old, but I remember after the audition, we were eating at a Mexican restaurant in Studio City, and she says to me, she says, "I really like your drumming, but your drums sound like shit." I mean, like, verbatim, that's what she said. And she hands me a phone number, and it's a drummer named Myron Grumbacher. I don't know if you guys know about him. Myron played on all those Pat Benatar records, like from the beginning till they were huge. Wow. And then he started to play on all kinds of other records, including Lita's big hits. That's Myron on there. So she hands me his number, and I call him, and he says, "Come over." And I've never met him. He doesn't know me from, and he loaned me, like, he had his cartage guy bring over a set of drums, said, "Just use them till you get your own here." And he totally hooked me up, man.
Wow.
And then he'd come in the studio, and, we went for a walk. I remember I was having trouble playing to a click at really slow tempos, like the ballad stuff. It was, and he said, "Let's go for a walk." And we started walking down Sunset, and he goes, "Listen, your click is so loud that the headphones are jumping off the floor when you're not wearing them." He said, "Turn the click down, first of all, so it's not in the forefront. It's in the back, as a reference, but it's not blowing. It's not like up there with the music. You're playing the music, you're referencing off that. It's kind of like a balance you got to get." And then he taught me about how to get more subdivisions on the click. So instead of going click, click, click on a slow song, you'd be like click, 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 and it's much easier. And he taught me stuff like that,
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't know if you ever played with a musician whose timing's not so great in the studio. I don't know about you. I always ask my friends this. But when you're playing to a click and somebody's not having trouble with it, my ear goes with the musician. It's hard to stay with the click when someone's like pulling you off of it. So I learned back then too, you can take that guy right out of your mix. And they never have to know about it. You can just smile when they're playing. You're just like, yeah, can't think they're saying, and you get through the song if you have to, whatever it takes,
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, but anyway, long story. That was my first, like, getting paid.
Damn.
Wow. Freaking awesome.
That's a good gig.
That's a great gig. Yeah, getting paid, getting good money.
21.
21?
Yeah, 21 years old.
Hell yeah.
A long time ago.
So the final five.
Okay, so question number 1 of 5.
Now, let me ask you a question. Are these the same 5 you've asked somebody else?
Yeah.
Or are these specific for me?
They're fine. Right now, we're using them for everyone to see what their answers are.
All right, that's cool. All right, go.
Okay. Number 1, what is the most important piece of gear or secret weapon while on tour or in the studio?
Important piece of gear. I'll have 2 answers for this. Important piece of gear is you want to sound good, no matter what you're doing. So your instrument, it's got to sound good. You got to learn how to get the sound that you have in your head recorded, and you got to work with a front of house guy so that you're not spending all this time getting your sound and he's killing it out front, just blowing it for you. That's happened to me, So some guy was get the greatest live drum sound, and he just threw triggers on everything. And I mean, I could have been playing cardboard boxes; it wouldn't matter. So I would say instrument is probably one of the most important things. A good sounding instrument that you know how to work, that you're comfortable with. And I'd say, like, not secret, but I used to not see too many drummers doing it. I mean, I saw some, but taking a metronome with you everywhere. Every live show on tour, doesn't matter. So at least, now everybody plays the live tracks, but back in the day when they wasn't so much, at least you can start the song at the right tempo, And if your adrenaline speeds you up, okay, whatever. But at least you're starting where you need to start.
Yeah.
And while the singer's blabbing to the audience, you dial up your next song. Boom, quick, you get the count off speed. And I thought that was always I don't know if it's a trick, but I thought it was something cool that I couldn't believe that not everybody was doing, because it was so helpful. And without it, I felt so lost, I'd actually started carrying 2 of them around because I was worried if one didn't work, I'd be screwed. So I actually have another one just in case, But yeah, I think so. Is that a long answer?
No, it's perfect.
Those are badass. That's actually what I'm gonna tell every drummer now.
Yeah,
it's like have 2 metronomes.
Yeah. Or I just want to have one now too, like anywhere, just to have it, like it's a pulse.
Well, I mean, a pet peeve of mine is that you ever hear live recordings of bands you really love, and they're playing so fast.
Yeah.
They're just butchering the songs, And these are some really big bands, And I think if the drummer had a little metronome and count off there, it would have been sitting where I needed to sit.
Yeah.
You were talking about Rodger Taylor. Listen to any Queen thing live. That guy's tempo is killer. It's just like it is live. He never speeds up. I don't know how he does it, man. And he's singing and he's playing, and it's just right there. It never takes off. But there's other bands, I won't name them, but you know who we're talking.
Yeah, Hot Stop.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's freaking, and yeah, I don't know how Rodger Taylor does that either. And yeah, there are those other bands that don't. We're used to it. I'm sure you're used to it at the, we do the Ultimate Jam nights. You only did a couple of them. I think you were kind of like, but there's sometimes some of those songs, they're classics.
Yeah. I did a handful of those.
Right.
I did a handful. The thing with that, it's not really a jam, is it? Because it's not like they're opening it up. There's not like improv sections. You're playing a song. So
yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. You have to use the word jam, but the thing with that too is, man, if you get stuck with a bad singer, you're not going to have a good time.
Yeah.
And I always tried to make sure I knew who I was playing with, But once in a while, I'd get stuck with someone I didn't know, and it sucked. I don't like hacking in front of people. I'm not. I mean, I don't think I'm like a perfectionist. I'm cool with making a mistake here or there, whatever. But I just don't like hacking.
Yeah. Like
looking like in front of people. It's just not, I'd rather just stay home and, play with my dog, Okay, what's the next question? What we got? What's number 2?
Number 2, most memorable or crazy story from the road.
Everyone's going to say the same thing. There's so many memorable things. So then I go into my old guy storytelling, because this was a funny. So I already said I was a Kiss fan growing up, right? So
yeah.
That was like my childhood band. So I was doing a gig in Atlantic City. And right when we got off stage, I went into the dressing room, and Ace Frehley is sitting in our dressing room.
Ooh.
And I'm sure you guys know who he is, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, the original guitar player for Kiss, for anyone who doesn't. So he's in there, and we're talking, and in the big room at this venue, Pearl Jam was playing, and he was there to hop on stage with Pearl Jam. And so that's what he was doing there, but he was early, so he came to our gig, So I said, hey, Ace, would you sign a guitar for me? Like typical fanboy. He's like, yeah. So I went up to, this was with Rick Springfield. I went up to Rick, I said, hey, can I have one of your beater guitars, the ones that he breaks and sells? Can I have one of those? And I get Ace to sign. He goes, yeah. So he gives me a guitar, and Ace signs it, and I'm all stoked. Yeah, I got my Ace Frehley, And I give it to the road crew guys, the guitar tech, and I say, get this back to Los Angeles. Please get this back to Los Angeles in one piece. So the very next night, we're doing a show. I don't know where we went, but we're doing a show. And we come out, first song, and the band comes out like 30 seconds before Springfield walks out. So we're out there and we're starting like, with the big downbeat. The show's about to go. And Springfield walks out looking at me with a big smile, and he's got my guitar with the Ace Frehley signature on it.
Oh.
He proceeds to take the guitar off. This is before we even played a song, and start smashing it on stage.
Oh, God.
I went from like being pissed to just like, I just gave into it. I said, oh, okay, well, it's gone. And I couldn't believe it, man. I couldn't believe it. My guitar. But what happened was he took another guitar, another beer, and forged the signature to look exactly like the one I had gotten. And that's.
Damn.
I love that. Oh,
memorable stuff on the road is pulling capers. I mean,
Damn, that's an awesome story. Fuck.
God, dude. I didn't know Rick Springfield had that kind of sense of humor.
Be careful around Rick.
You got to keep up with him. He's great.
Yeah, I saw that documentary that he did and that you were in. It was while you were touring with them. They did like a documentary about him and his fans. And I saw like a few years ago. And
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I loved it.
I actually didn't see that one.
Oh, yeah?
Didn't see that one. But I remember the two women were following us around for like 6 months,
Yeah. And then the husbands came to a gig after, and Rick met with the husbands. It was pretty funny. But I love that documentary, and I love the vibe. Like, you can see the vibe of Rick and the band, like, of how kind of you guys were. It's just, like, such a cool vibe. Like, it seemed, at least from the documentary, like a great band to be in and play and tour. Like, that seemed like a dream. Like, I would love to do weekends like that.
Yeah, definitely made some lifelong friends in that band.
Yeah.
I mean, we did it for almost 14 years. It's a long time, Yeah, I didn't see it. Sometimes, I mean, I like to see myself play because I critique myself.
Right.
And video's a little harder on my brain than I would rather just listen to myself. But like the offstage stuff when I'm talking, like what we're doing right now, I don't need to see it. It makes me nuts. So I'll get all bummed out. Like, so just I do it and let it be,
Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm kind of like, I don't like hearing myself recorded, but I love seeing live stuff because live to me seems fun. It's like I don't like making a tiger sit down and take a picture of it. I want to see the tiger run around. So when I love seeing live videos and stuff. So I'm a little bit of the opposite.
You guys ever play something though that you think it's just the coolest thing ever, and then you hear it for the first time back, whether it's in the studio or a live video, and you're going, that wasn't as cool as I thought it was.
Yeah, that's all the time. Then I don't watch that live video ever again.
Yeah.
That's why they say you should record yourself as much as possible, so you start getting the ear,
Yeah. That's the thing about recording. It's not even, it is to train your ear better. Because you practice recording, you hear it back, and then after a while, it's almost, you can start hearing yourself more when you play live or whatever.
I think that's why some of the best, busiest session players are the best, busiest session players, because they get to hear themselves every single day at work,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Kenny Aronoff, or back in the day, Jeff Porcaro, or Steve Lukather, or whoever,
Yeah.
At least, I mean, they just get to hear themselves all the time, and they can make the little course corrections they need to make in their playing. And after a while, you're a great session player after a while,
Yeah, fucking Steve Lukather, motherfucker.
Do you know Kenny Aronoff, like, personally?
Met him. I don't know if I'd say I know him. I'm a fan of his.
Oh, yeah. He's
badass.
to this day, he does just like rudimental, like for hours on end. Like you just in his studio, in his rehearsal space.
The thing I love about him the most, and when I heard Scarecrow, the Scarecrow record from Mellencamp way back, the thing that blew me away, first of all, the sound of his drums was amazing. There's just pure energy coming through the speaker. Not so much, it's just you just feel the energy, but it's his parts that he comes up with. They're really simple, but they're really clever.
Right.
Stuff that I would have never thought of. even if it's just 4/4, and it's the same old boom crack, boom boom crack. The way he figures out where to put those simple notes is really good to me.
Wow, I
Anyway.
never thought of it that way. Yeah,
Well,
freaking.
if you ever listen to the early Mellencamp stuff, like the Scarecrow record, or I think the record's called the one before that. Anyway, those are great drummers.
Damn.
All drummers should check that out, I think.
Okay.
Anyway.
So that's for you drummers. Check that out.
Yes. So question number 3. This is my favorite question. What are your tips for songwriting?
I don't write. I'm not a songwriter. I can't help you.
No, it's okay.
But I think I do have some songwriting credits only because people let me hum. They put up with me humming to them. So luckily enough, I get some small BMI checks every 3 months, but really not a songwriter. But I'm really, you know what? I'll say this. I'm pretty good at arranging. You know, like just trying to be a little more clever than verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, end. You know, I mean, I think I've gotten pretty good at that. Just doing good arrangements, you know. But yeah, I'm not a songwriter, so I can't help you.
Okay.
No, but arranging is part of songwriting.
Absolutely. And you create parts in the studio. Like when you're working with Lita Ford, you had to write your part. And you know, I'm
That's
sure
true.
is there
But
anything Sorry,
you don't really get most people will not give you a writing credit for coming up with the drum part. You know. Actually Lita did. I'm on a couple with Debbie. Debbie, actually, we were both on a few songs. And another one of my friends, Matt Bissonette, great bass player. We had a band, and we recorded a bunch of CDs and got them placed into. I mean, you know, 8 out of 10 things we were recording was getting placed in television shows. And he was doing most of the heavy lifting, like probably 90% of the work. And I was doing like maybe 5, but we split it 3 ways, which was pretty damn cool of him, you know?
Yeah.
Stuff we wrote, stuff we did 15 years ago, I'm still making a little money from. You know, it's not a lot, but it's still something, you know?
Yeah, that's cool. Number 4. What is your favorite lick or technique that helps you with your playing? Or producing. Some people have different, like if you have a cool thing that you can help out drummers with or whatever.
You've already said a bunch, too.
Yeah.
But if there's any.
I mean, as far as like Dick, I mean that I don't even know where I'd start. So I'm gonna give drummers another little tidbit of something. If they want to listen to my big mouth, maybe they'll agree with me. And I'm probably not telling anyone something they don't know to a lot of guys, but there's a drummer named Benny Greb, Greb, German. Watch him, Google him, Benny, Benny, last name Greb. Watch him and learn. Amazing.
Damn.
Amazing drummer, deep groove, chops for days, creative, and he's funny when he's teaching. Yeah, Benny Greb. All right. So that's my answer.
Awesome.
Okay. Damn, okay. Hell yeah. Benny Greb.
And this is number 5.
Number
The
5.
Final 5.
The last question. What is the best advice you would give a person looking to do what you do?
Don't do it. Actually, there's a little truth to that. I mean, if you had do you guys have kids?
I have 2. I have a 2-year-old and 5.
Okay, so let's say you have a 18-year-old, and he or she comes up to you and says, you know, right now and says, I want to be a singer. I want to be in the music business. You want to encourage them and be supportive, and you don't want to stomp on anyone's dreams, right? But could you honestly encourage someone to get into this business now? Like just start off? I mean, that's...
Yeah.
I mean... If that's what they need to do, they'll do it anyway. But it's just I always wonder if I'd be able to encourage my own kid to. I mean, there is no business, and it was hard enough make money 20 years ago. Now it's like, I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. So, my advice would be, I would always encourage people though, and I would say, learn your instrument. Learn your instrument and try to be as versed in different styles of music as you can. You know, I mean, if you just play metal and you can't play anything else because you get hired for a pop gig and you're hitting too hard. I mean, learn the different stuff. Play so that way when the phone rings or opportunity, you don't have to say no. Because saying no to a gig sucks, right?
Yeah.
So be able to say yes, so whatever that takes, whether, that means reading, then learn how to read. If that means just listening to styles of music, you can still do what you do and love what you do or whatever music it is. But there's a lot of time in the day, especially now. So, just learn your craft. Because if you want to cut down the odds of whether you're going to make a living at it or not, I just put your odds a little higher that you can take anything that comes your way, or almost anything,
Yeah.
So that would be my advice. And play, and the old story of your attitude with people, like being a good hang. That's half of it, or more than half of it. Because you could be the greatest player, and and you're an asshole on the bus, and no one wants to hang out. You're not going to work,
Right.
So just kind of keep everything in check, like yourself, and keep your playing. Learn your craft. So that's my.
Damn, that's
Yeah, dude,
awesome.
that's awesome. It's controversial, and as bleak as it started, it makes me want to work my ass off, and that's all I could ask for. I was like, I'm going to jump in right now.
I don't mean to be bleak, but if it was your own kid, that's why I said kid, and it's your own flesh and blood who you love to, like to no end, and you want to see them be happy in life. It's a question. Could you do it now? Could you really, knowing what the business is now?
Right.
And I guess you. I don't know. I don't have a kid, so I couldn't answer. But that would be hard for me.
Yeah, it makes sense to me because it's like I do have kids and I do see there is like no business.
Yeah.
But I kind of believe like if you're happy, you can still do what you want to do. And to me, rent's not that hard to make. I can figure out ways, and I go to school full time and I try to do this and that and all of these other things, and I can still figure out a way like, if I work 25 hours straight or if I work 2 17-hour days, Postmates, I can make rent. So just like go crazy, So if you're willing to work hard, then do what you want. But in the end, you might not make money doing what you want, but you have to know that to survive, you still have to have a good work ethic. So like work really hard doing Postmates or some shit, and then fucking play gigs.
And it kind of brings us back to what we talked about first: is if you're a creative person, really creative, you're gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
Someone can tell you, no, don't, go have something to fall back on and stay in school, blah, blah, blah. But if you need to play guitar or you need to write songs, you're going to play guitar and write songs. No matter what anyone says to you, it won't matter.
Yeah.
So I guess there's that, but it's just scarier now, I think. I think that was my point. We don't know. It's hard to do now, and we don't know what's next because everything's just up in the air right now. So who knows?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man! Thanks for being on the show.
Pretty good. I hope I didn't put anyone to sleep, man.
No,
I don't think so, man. It's fucking badass.
You're the first percussionist and drummer to be on the show, first of all, and
First and last.
No.
It's awesome. It's super.
Yeah. Well, be safe, you guys.
Yeah, you too, man. It's crazy now.
Yeah. Hopefully, next time we're talking, it'll be like we'll be making some music.
Yeah.
I think you're for some new songs to over here, man.
Oh yeah, I would love to. I miss the doghouse. It's the sound and it's magic in there.
We're still working here. I mean, I don't let a lot of people on at the same time. We're thinning out the entourage that people show. But we're still, getting through it somehow, you know.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, well, thanks for you guys. This was fun.
This is super fun. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Damn, Rodger, thank you so much for being on the podcast. This was an amazing episode, and you were fucking badass, man.
Inspiring as always.
Yeah, badass.
Badass.
And next week we gonna have a badass episode for you, so just stay tuned, and thanks for being on the show. Bye.
Bye.